arrogance and confidence are two very separate things. And I say this because I made the mistake of being arrogant. Don't get me wrong. Do I think I'm dope? Yes. But I used to think when I stepped in the building, I was the dopest in the room, and I had this kind of chip on my shoulder, and I had this this kind of element to me where it's like, well, I'm the most talented one here. No, I wasn't. I mean, that's the energy that kept me working, and I will always appreciate who I was at that point in time.
I'm big boned. I'm heavy structured. I'm hung low. If I pull my shit out, this whole room get dark.
I'ma talk my shit. Fat finger, let me talk my shit. Damn right I'm gon' talk my shit. I.E. in this bitch law. Never resting on my laurels. The definition of a quarrel when they start questioning your morals. Decapitate.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very dope and personal talk your shit.
Very
See what
personal.
I did there?
Very personal.
So I met this man over 2 years ago, and him and another artist I know reached out to me to do a show in Fullerton, and I got to see him perform. And I was like, this kid's dope. And like when you see youth and talent at the same time, you see potential, you see the trajectory of success. So it's very dope for me to see him here. And the fact that he's a super dope lyricist, he's got a good head on his shoulders, he don't bullshit about his time.
And he get bitches.
And he gets,
and he write love songs.
Yeah.
He does, which I'm pretty sure secures
And his
the
fits
bitch.
be on point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Fuck you. So I know where he's going with that.
The motherfucker
You-
walking
you
around with a
smoke?
murder mystery talking about love songs.
You milked up? You got it? You good?
You good?
Okay, anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we give to you our very dope special guest, Persinal.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I want to give a shout out to Heavyweight Podcast and Stutter for having me here. And I got to give a shout out. The other artist that he's referencing is my older brother and mentor in the industry, Diesel 5001.
Yes.
Yeah, so when I got to meet Stutter, and I got to talk about this at his birthday performance at the venue. But when I met this gentleman, during his performance, he had a repeat after me segment. And I know I made this joke, but I'm going to make it again. There is a certain word that I lack the amount of melanin to be able to say publicly. Not that I say it when it's not public, but
He cleaned that up quick. He was like, ooh.
yeah,
God damn, let me clear this shit up real quick. I
Let me
don't
fix
say
that.
nigga.
No. But I'm just saying, this was during a public setting, and there's actually a reason I say that, and it pertains to a question I feel like I'm going to be asked later on in the podcast. But during his repeat after me segment, you know, he's all repeat after me. Da, 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 da. I'm standing in the front. I'm looking to the left. I'm looking to the right. And he's looking dead in my soul, like the soles of these shoes.
They all did.
I had to.
Hey,
Yo,
my people, son.
I fight white people.
Hey.
Personal. I will two-piece your ass. I fight white folks.
Two-piece
Hey.
and a biscuit.
Okay, I don't give a damn.
I guess the sage ain't working.
Y'all get on my
I'm
damn.
having a great day.
I swear to God, y'all get on my damn.
I'm having a great day.
Des, thank you so much. I'm about to go to work in a good-ass mood. You got me to start my day right. Thank you so much.
Leave me alone.
So anyway,
Tell the
continuing the
story.
story. So he's looking at me dead in my soul. I'm like, And he later confirmed that it was a trap. He was going to see if I was going to take the bait. And I said, I am too smart to take that bait. I'm not saying that word. And that's how I first met this gentleman.
You got to weed him out. You got to make sure who's strong for this business.
Oh,
and
damn.
he's smart and he's strong. He didn't take the bait.
No, but over the years, just trying my best to keep up with social media and who's who in the Inland Empire. I did have the blessing to witness this man's growth as well from before I had known him into the lyricist that he is. And Studda has to be one of the most lyrically gifted I've heard in the Inland Empire. So I just wanted to give you your flowers.
I appreciate that. I truly appreciate that.
This nigga be rapping.
Yeah, we agree. We damn sure agree.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. And we'll talk about that on later on. But this is his time now. But Persinal.
Yes, sir.
I always ask this question, and I really, really, really want to know this.
What's up?
What did you know? And like, how did you know that you were an MC?
So to get into this topic, ever since I was like 5 or 6 years old, I delved into poetry. I was constantly writing. I actually have a song that I just recorded that talks about my early childhood years. And sorry, my voice is shaking. I'm still a little cold. I should have brought a jacket because everyone else was smart enough.
Don't you dare.
Come on, just let him use the.
Do not
get real super warm.
I mean, I don't need the shoes. Can I get the purse?
Persinal, tell your damn.
Okay, so, in my early years, again, I had started out with poetry, and my mom was also gifted. She wanted to be a singer, so she kind of nurtured my reading and writing journey. But my dad had actually raised me up on 70s and 80s metal, and I started getting into that music a little bit. I picked up guitar, drums, dabbled in piano a little bit. But there was always something that felt like there was missing, like there was a disconnect, because I grew up in an area where it was a lot of Hispanics, African Americans, and I was one of the only white boys. And it always felt like I'm too white to fit in with that crowd, but I wasn't preppy enough to fit in with the white kids. There was always this kind of weird disconnect where I felt like I didn't really belong anywhere. And when it came to hip hop, I would listen to it privately, because my mom and dad didn't want me listening to hip hop, especially at that time, because I was still, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. And then came high school. During high school, I got kicked out my junior year and I got sent to a continuation school. And in the continuation school was full of a lot of people who had these dreams of wanting to be involved in music, getting into rap. And that's where I got to really experience writing raps down for the first time, and then taking it to the lunch yard and freestyling, take, whatever lyrics you had, someone will beatbox or play some beat off of YouTube. And, I would take my lyrics in, and there was one kid, I can't remember his name for the life of me, but he told me, he's like, bro, you sound dope, but you sound like you're trying to mimic Eminem too much. Why don't you sit down and write a song that's more your own? And at the time I was like, nah, I can't do that. I'm not talented enough to do that. But I sat down and I wrote my first song. And as shitty as that song was, I fell in love with the essence of hip hop and the creative process, because at the end of the day, I feel like hip hop is the only music genre that can emulate every single emotion on the emotional spectrum. You talk about rock, heavy metal, it's full of anger, angst. You have R&B, which is like love, feel good. But hip hop was the only genre that I had witnessed where you could talk about literally anything and everything. And no matter what, doesn't matter who the audience is, there's going to be something in there for everyone that they can relate to. And that was I was 16 at the time. 16.
That's well explained.
Thank you.
What school did you go to?
The continuation, Valley View.
Okay.
Was you like hiding and writing raps in your room because you couldn't even listen to the shit? So
well, no, they let me listen to it when I was about like 13,
okay.
14. It was just when I was a kid, like before I was even 10 years old.
Yeah, that didn't happen in my house. I was Easy E at like 6.
Right.
Well, I didn't have that pleasure.
No, I know.
Sorry.
Oh God.
Just like, why are you looking like that?
Because I could see when you on bullshit.
I wouldn't.
Damn.
I'm just living my life.
So how long have you been rapping for, like, officially?
I would say I started taking the writing and recording process heartburn, excuse me, a little more seriously when I was 18. But when I really started releasing music and performing was about the age of 21. So to take it seriously, I would say about the last 6 years. Yeah.
Okay. This is a side. So when did you start linking up with Diesel as far as like doing the shows and such?
Oh, that's a great question. So the way I actually met Diesel back during COVID, I was the newcomer on the scene, and the local hip hop community had known each other 5, 10, 15 plus years. I was very new to the scene. I didn't have connections with anybody. So to kind of, kick my way into the door a little bit, I had created an Inland Empire group chat on Instagram that's still active to this day, where everyone just bounces new song material, bounces videographers, photographers, so on and so forth. And I didn't even know anybody. I was just adding whoever had IE in their bio that was a local artist. And when I first met Diesel, it was at a Pomona Loud event back during COVID. And this is when they had to have their performances outdoors. And I saw him perform, and I was like, that guy looks so familiar. I'm like, is that Diesel? Is that Diesel? I was asking all the people like to the left and right of me. I'm like, hey, is that Diesel? Hey, do you know who that is? And he finished his performance, and I got to go up and have a conversation with him. And that was just the start of a family bond and a working relationship as well. And over the course after that, I want to say 7 or 8 months later, he had invited me to do a performance at the Fullerton venue we were at. Performed there, I want to say like 4 or 5 times, and I would show up early to help set up. I would stay late to help them break down the set, and that's when he invited me to become a host for the event. This is when we were still doing Up Your Game out in Santa Ana, and that group unfortunately is no longer together, but Diesel and I maintain our friendship and working relationship, so we are in the talks of starting up a new movement. It's still in the developmental process. And, we're trying to secure the venue and everything. But what I loved the most about it was being involved behind the scenes and really learning how to transition from I'm just an artist to how do I staple my name as a business? How do I staple my name as a household name in the Inland Empire? And being involved in the production area of things when it comes to performances was the best way I could see myself doing that.
That's what's up. Again, shout out to Diesel.
Yes, sir.
He's a very, I would say, I used to pick his brain so much about any information. He's like this giant ball of information when it comes. If you have any question about something, he either knows it or he'll make sure to find out how to do it. So shout out to Diesel. Definitely a great mentor.
He don't gatekeep.
He don't gatekeep. He's very, if you got questions, he'll either have the answer or he'll find it for you.
I respect that.
So after your recent obstacle that you've overcame, what is your main motivation in this journey this time around?
Well, to shed a little bit of light on that, the obstacle itself was a back injury that took me out I've been MIA for the last 5 months. And before the injury, I was just firing on all cylinders. I was involved with performances. I was involved in trying to record new music, maintaining my full-time job in the gym, working off of 2-3 hours of sleep, and having to take that hiatus and really remind myself of why I'm grateful to be making music in the process. And it was also a reminder to keep up with my relationships with the local artists. Because before then, and it wasn't out of like, oh, I'm hating on this person, but I was so caught up in my own world that I wasn't taking the time to follow up with everyone else and, really check in and be like, hey, how are you doing? You guys good? Do you guys need help with anything? What do you got planned? Is there any way I can be involved? I was just so caught up in my own world. So when I was forced to really take a long minute to have nothing to do, I think this next time go around, I'm going to try to be a lot more involved and really step outside of Persinal's world and be like, okay, well, but this is a collective community. How can I be more involved? How can I give back to the community? How can I show love in this area to really nurture that growth? So I think that's where my focus is for the most part at this point.
That's what's up. I know you were working on a project. What is the name of your project?
So the album that I just put out this year is titled Sinner Child. I actually got this idea from Diesel. We were sitting down and having a conversation, and word for word, verbatim, he goes, "Your name's Persinal. Don't be afraid to get fucking personal. Like, tell your story." And, at that point in time, I had my club songs, I had my dope lyrical bangers, I had a couple songs that touched on the importance of mental health, depression, songs where I would give informational light about the struggles with addiction, but I hadn't really talked about my story from a third person point of view. And so he sits me down and he's all, "Why don't you do a play off of Inner Child? You can call it Sinner Child because you have the word sin in the name Persinal. So call it Sinner Child, talk about your mistakes, talk about your tribulations, and really delve deep into what made you the person you are today." And I think that was the most reflective piece of work I've ever done. And I have to thank him for giving me that album idea and title, because after he told me about that and he gave me the idea, I just ran with it. Like, I think I had 85% of the album written and recorded within 2 weeks. And then there was like 2 or 3 songs off of it that took me a little bit longer because I had to find the right words to convey the message I was trying to put out. And the whole concept of Sinner Child really touches on, no matter the mistakes that you've made, you can always come back from it. And to not allow your mistakes to define who you are as a person. Personally, no pun intended, I feel like that message was conveyed exactly the way that I wanted it to. And then the next project that I have following up with it, shout out to Tangent, the Wiggy Woo. He actually gave me this idea for the second follow-up project called Personality, where he was like, okay, so you touched on how you got from point A to point B, but he was like, what did he tell me? He's like, you have one of the most interesting personalities because there's so many different aspects to you where you were so involved in fitness, you're nerdy, you don't act the way that you look. So he's like, all these different elements to your personality. Why don't you make a project called Personality? So that's going to be the next follow-up project to really go into the different aspects of Persinal and not to give my government, but Anthony, and the embodiment that Persinal took on to really convey the confidence that Anthony didn't have growing up, and kind of the connection and bridge between the two. So yeah.
What's up?
Yeah.
How much of that have you written?
For Personality, I have 16 songs that are on the possible finalization of the album. But what I like to do when it comes to my album creation process, I like to get about 35 or 40 songs in and then subtract on an as-need basis.
God damn.
Yeah.
So for people out there that don't know, when you're an artist and you're writing, it's a very hard process. So when he said he had already had 85% of it written, that's impressive. That's not easy to do. So everything he's saying right now is very, that takes discipline, time, and just persistence, because you can get easily discouraged creating. So the fact that and then your process of pretty much creating a lot and then dialing it down, and that's even hard if you're, especially, I don't know exactly how you feel about all your music, but me, I'm like, it's hard for me to just, pick that one over that one, this one over that one, and you're like, I want it all. Pause. And like you,
No Diddy.
yeah, no Diddy. What?
Y'all get on my nerves.
Ain't no baby oil in here.
I swear to God. I swear to God.
There's a lot of cotton.
Ain't no baby oil.
Anyway, what is your process in writing a song?
When it comes to writing a song, first and foremost, when I was 16, 17, I would like to write the lyrics first. And then what made me realize that was becoming a little too difficult, because the only portion of the creation process of a song is the production of the beat. I do not have an ear for production. I've tried to sit down and I can't emulate the emotion into the beat that I would like. So I do have about 5 or 6 go-to producers that I work with. Not local, unfortunately. Still trying to touch base with some local producers, but it gets a little convoluted when you're trying to find someone who really fits your personal sound. No pun intended. But so at this point, during my writing process, I like to find the beat first that I feel has the most connection to the emotion and message that I want to put together. And once I find that, I will literally go line through line, not oh yeah, let me write the first verse and then go back. No, I will take it literally line per line. I'll write a single line, take it back to the beginning of the beat. Write the second line, take it back to the beginning of the beat. Third line, so on and so forth. So by the end of the song, I almost have the song completely memorized as it is. And the reason I like to do that too is because I'm very technical of where I want to fit into the pockets, where I'm going to fit the flow switch, where I'm going to try to flip a cadence, where I'm really going to structure the hook outside of the verses and of itself. And I'm not going to lie, it's such an exhausting process because I feel like I overthink it a little too much. But that's where I find the love in that creation, because there was such a great amount of attention to detail that I really do have to sit back and, kind of give myself a clap on the back. Like, okay, you really took your time with that and you made sure that there was no room for error. And once that's all finalized and I go into the studio, I make sure that I can record it from start to finish without losing my breath, because if I can do that in the studio, I can perform it. If there's a song where I'm like, okay, I gas out on this part and I cannot finish the verse, that means I cannot perform it live to the best of my ability. So how can I flip that cadence to save a little more breath? Where can I add where I can, take 1 or 2 words out to be able to have breath control to be able to perform this? And that's the overall creation of the song. First and foremost, is it within all the pockets that I wanted to hit? Does it fit the message? Does it fit the tone? And then can I perform this? That's the...
So you do the whole process and kind of like in one shot. So you do the memorizing 4 performances and the creation of the song itself all in one. Yeah. So when you said about for producers, I often had an issue with this. Actively, I feel like locally there's not too many producers that kind of, because I feel like you're in the same wavelength as far as you almost have a sound that's more, I guess, without locally people are like, oh, you sound more East Coast, you sound more this, you sound more. So do you notice that a lot of the producers that you do reach out to tend to be either East Coast influenced or seem to hail from either more Eastern states?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a disconnect between West and East Coast style. It would be more so the times where some of the producers I see locally are still, within the 90s, early 2000s, boom bap, which don't get me wrong, I love. But especially with my generation, there's a huge disconnect with that, where there's not really an appreciation for something that has a simple, iconic beat and bars. That's something that just isn't appreciated anymore for the majority of my generation. But then these other beats that I hear are almost a little too modern, where it's, oh, there's a touch of EDM or a touch of pop or a touch of this. And I like to be in that sweet middle ground where there's elements of boom bap, but you still get the elements of the 808. You still get a taste of these hard hitting bass notes, melodies, and all that kind of stuff. And it's hard to find a producer that can really emulate that, and then at the same time find a beat that matches your vocal tone and your vocal style. Especially as someone who I don't have an ear for singing. I don't have an ear for being able to change my vocal key. So if there's a beat that's in a key that I can't match, I'm like, okay, then I have to find a beat that's going to complement my voice a little bit better. Even if the lyrics fit this one perfectly, I'm like, but my voice isn't going to sound good on this. Like, the beat itself is dope. I don't want to take away from the producer, but this isn't for my vocal tone specifically. And I keep all of those elements in the back of my mind when it comes to the song creation, where I really want this to have the best sound. So again, and that's not to hate on any producers, because that's a talent that I do not have. And, mad respect to the people who can sit down and just off the top of their head be like, oh, like all the stuff that I don't know how to do. But again, when it comes to the local producers in the scene, when I'm keeping all of those elements in mind, I'm like, it gets a little hard for me to be like, oh yeah, no, this person's the perfect producer, or this person's the perfect producer. So I just go to YouTube and I'll search up, again, the 5 or 6 producers that I found on YouTube that I work with on a consistent basis. I feel really just match who I am as an artist.
I guess the follow-up would be, do you know where their region?
There's 2 or 3 of them that are actually here in California. One is from LA, one is from the Bay Area, and one I think is from NorCal. One's from New York, and then like 1 or 2 in the Midwest region. But they're all United States. They're just not,
for sure,
SoCal.
Because when I hear what you're saying, like when you're talking about like being able to not be able to identify certain tones, but like it's a skill in itself to be able to like say for yourself, like, I can't do that, so I need to be able to find something that's a skill in itself. And is it impressive, like when you come across the tangents or the or diesels that can kind of come around and give you like that, hey man, you should totally do this for that song or this pocket or whatever, and you see that they have, I guess, more of a handle on maybe things you didn't think about for yourself. Like when they kind of point out something, you're like, oh, shit, I didn't even think about doing it that way, and flip it.
So, and I love that you asked that, because the 2 of them are really, there's 3 people. There's Diesel, Tangent, and Sunny. And we can go into Sunny a little bit later into this, but I'm going to give my flowers to the 3 of them.
Sunny back.
I love him.
Those are the 3 individuals that we send each other unreleased material to all the time. And the advice that I get from Diesel and Tangent are kind of like what you said, like, hey, why don't you try this cadence here? Or why don't you try to flip, a flow switch to go into a double time here? Or, why don't you change the topic material to something a little more like this? Like, hey, that might be a little too heavy, or hey, that's not personal enough. Go deeper. And I always take their advice to heart. And even if I finish a song and the song is what I'm happy with, and I'm like, I don't want to change that song specifically, but the advice that you gave me, I'm going to take into the next song or the next project, because I want to see that evolution of growth. But I also don't want to take away from what I feel like, okay, this is exactly what I wanted it to be. And this is no disrespect to anybody. But, if you give me advice, of course, I'm going to take it into the next song. But if I feel a song is completed to the point where I am happy with it, that's for me. That's like, okay, you know what? Like, I appreciate the advice. I'm going to take this, next project. I'll let you hear it so you can hear, okay, I, listen to what you had to say. I really listened to what you had to say. But this song for me is perfect as it is. And that makes me happy. But when it comes to Sunny, Sonny himself kind of also keeps me grounded into something that's a little more modern, where, you know, I'll send him some songs. Actually, I sent him 2 songs recently. One's called Personality, which is the title. I can't speak.
Title.
Well, the titular song to the album.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Personality, the song, and then Personality, the album. And then I sent him a secondary song called Big Chain. And this is kind of where that disconnect happens, where I was talking about a little bit earlier that when it comes to lyric content, sometimes lyrics in and themselves aren't the most appreciated anymore. Personality really went into my upbringing, how I started writing music, kind of what I'm touching base on the podcast today, how I evolved from going from Anthony into Persinal and really went in depth into a lot of those elements. And then Big Chain is just your typical braggadocious, like, oh, like this shit, you know, this shit bangs, but there's really no depth to the song.
Mm-hmm.
And word for word, and he told me he loved both joints. He's like, you know, these are both really dope songs, but Personality, I feel like, is the type of song that you keep in your bag and you talk about this stuff a lot. And yeah, you're going really into depth, but a song like Big Chain, even though in my opinion there's no depth to the song, he's like, this is the most marketable. So I feel like that's the one that you should push a little bit more. And when I was a little bit younger, I would get frustrated with that, because Personality took me 3 weeks to write. Big Chain, I think I had written in 45 minutes. And I'm like, dude, like, why does this song get the attention? But that's the times that we're in. So I have a huge appreciation for Sonny, because he keeps me grounded in that element where he's like, okay, like, I know you're happy with it and this sounds good to you, but you also have to think about your consumer audience. Do they want to hear you go that in depth? Do they want to hear you be that technical with your bars? Or do you want to be able to market this and take it to the next level? So that's also a secondary element that I'm trying to keep in the back of my mind when I'm creating a song or creating a project is, yes, I want songs on there that make me happy, that I'm like, oh, like I really talked my shit on that song, or I did such a good job with this and yada, yada, yada. But also bringing out material that my audience is going to want to hear. And still having to be happy with that in the process. So major shout out to those 3 individuals, because I would not be the artist I am today without the feedback of all 3 of those individuals.
Big Chain is about to come out though, isn't it?
November 1st. November 1st.
So.
Yeah, November 1st. I actually just wrote that and recorded it last Friday.
Shout out to Sonny Babel.
Yes, please.
I think it's dope that both of you are young, but both of you guys have your business. You stand on business. Like it's very important to have everything thought out. And yeah,
that's an intelligent man.
Yeah, no, Sonny. It's always funny to me because I always forget that Sonny is just slightly younger than me because of the way he carries himself and the energy that he emulates. He's larger than life.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see that from that man.
I agree.
And he's just, you know, when I think about who has the potential to really blow from just a local artist into a national or international star, I really feel like Sonny is on my small list of people in the Inland Empire that do have that potential. So the fact that I have someone like that I can go to and be like, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about that? The fact that he will still take time away from his day to even give my stuff a listen, to give me honest and constructive feedback, that man will always have my undying respect.
Yeah, I agree. I can definitely see him taking off. But you too, because your sense of like understanding of self, but also like your willingness to go to the community, your rap community, for just questions, answers, and to really just thrive in that community, that's going to be what takes you to the top. Your music is excellent.
Thank you.
And I think it's because you have a good sense of self. You know what you're good at, you know what you're not so good at, but you're willing to go out into the community as well. So I can definitely see you taking off as well.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
And McFly, you know how I feel about you.
I appreciate it. But
you can't even.
Sonny had reached out. He had released a song with another artist, IE artist, and he asked my feedback. And when I saw the video, I got a weird. I don't like to like do the whole comparison box. I feel like people do that too often. But when he asked me, I honestly felt like Sonny has this weird thing where he's able to bridge gaps because of his styles and his ability to be creative. He can be on this punchline back here or whatever thing you need him to be. And I was like, for me, it almost felt. I'm sure he'll either get praised. I'm not trying to knock you for that. I said I feel like he's like this this IE version of J. Cole. The way I see him jump over and into everything, and he's featured on this artist and that artist, and you're like, damn, he can rap in that pocket, that pocket, that pocket, and it made me feel like what I see J. Cole do, where he's jumping in T Grizzly shit or whoever shit, and you're like that. That's to me is Sonny. Like
he's very versatile.
Yes. And he's very skilled. And I saw it at 14, seeing him get older and older and older, and just seeing it just evolve more. So shout out to Sonny.
Yeah, definitely. I keep forgetting how old
family
he is.
of the podcast. Yes,
the way he carries himself, I keep forgetting how old he is.
Yeah. So again, shout out to him. So as we move on. I know you addressed this a little bit earlier, but I still need to know.
What's up?
Just to get a clarification. Will you ever use the N-word pass I gave you at any point? Like, will we get a song where you suddenly say, hey, it's cool, Stutter said I could do it.
So I'm glad that you brought this up because it gives me the opportunity to clarify how I said earlier, I wouldn't say this publicly. When I was a little bit younger, especially, just getting into the hip hop scene when I was first starting to write, I'm not gonna lie, and this might get me canceled before I'm even able to.
Yeah, don't
actually
lie. Go ahead.
You won't get canceled.
When I was 16, 17 years old, I had been, welcomed into the community of everyone that was around me. Especially when they find out, I'm not your typical white boy. I was raised in a Mexican household through my dad and my grandparents, because my mom met my dad when I was 3. And, he's not my father by blood, but that's my pops through and through. And my grandparents too, that's my grandma, that's my grandpa. And so when people started to find that out about me, and they're like, okay, so you're not just some preppy white kid that came from privilege. And I'm like, no, furthest fucking thing from it. Being invited into the community, a lot of people gave me that pass. And I started to get a little too comfortable saying, a certain word. And then when I was 18, I think I was at a Halloween party.
They laid your ass out?
No, they didn't lay me out. No. But it became a thing because, I had a couple of the people I was cool with, behind me. And, there was a gentleman, I don't even know his name, but he was someone that I didn't know. And he heard me with my homies, saying, what's good, blah, 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 blah. And he stops me and he's all, why the fuck are you so comfortable saying that?
Ooh.
And it was a humbling moment for me because, I grew up the way that I grew up. I, had the friends that I was friends with that, and, this might sound a little stupid, but I would almost forget I'm 100% Caucasian. Mm-hmm. I would forget that sometimes. And so he had to really humble me, and he had to remind me at that point in time, because at this point I would say it on songs that I was putting out. I would, do this, do that. And he's like, you're never going to understand, the pain and history that comes with that word. And you're also, no matter what kind of life you've had, no matter how hard your life was, you're never going to understand the other side of it. Okay. And where this really comes into play, my best friend is African American. I think I told you guys this at the venue. My best friend is the epitome of Black excellence. He's on his way into medical school, getting his doctorate, and I've known this guy since 3rd grade. Like, he's family. My family still hits him up. He's very close with my dad. His family hits me up. Like, even if he's not in the area, they're like, hey, come visit for Thanksgiving, come visit for Christmas. Like, that's how close we are. This is family.
That's sweet.
And there were certain instances where we had done very similar things and made very similar mistakes. That when I was 18, 19 years old, I really got a taste of what the difference in skin tone can mean for consequences. And I didn't understand at the time why, we were in very similar situations where he didn't need, I don't want to go too much into it because this is his business, but he only had an accusation against him where I had made a mistake. He had actually been booked. Cops let me off.
Yeah, you wait.
Exactly. But I didn't
That's when he
understand
found
that.
out he can't say nigga.
Yeah, pretty much. But that was the biggest eye opener for me, that I don't care how white you are or you don't think you are, or if you're a white boy and you came from a specific upbringing, specific community, or, oh, well, I lived this life and I've been through this and I've been through that. Like, I've been through Section 8. I've been on food stamps. I've come from really rough areas, but I've still experienced what white privilege can bring. So there's no white boy that can sit here and have a conversation with me and say, oh, white privilege doesn't exist, this and that. Yes, the fuck it does. And I don't give a fuck where you come from. I was humbled in the sense that you don't understand what it's like on this other side, just like I don't, and we never will. So after I had those lessons, I was like, you know what? That's not even a word that I really should be saying to begin with. Like, what gratification does it bring me? Does it make me more hip hop? Does it make me, like, it didn't matter the friends that I had. It didn't matter who I had in my back corner. What does it do for me? So that's when I really stopped saying it. And I was like, there's really no point. Like, I don't come from that history. I don't come from the emotion that comes behind that word. And I will never understand that. So I had to accept that within myself.
Good job.
I respect it.
I was only laughing because now he's gonna be the motherfucker in the party when he sees white people. Like, hey,
You don't understand the
you
history.
don't understand.
Well, no, but it's funny that because you don't understand the history, I don't understand the history.
That shit
So,
hit you like a ton of bricks. Like, he's right. He's right.
All right. Moving along.
Yeah.
What is your top 5 dead or alive MCs?
I don't even want to be this close to you while you say this part because everybody get it wrong every time.
Don't listen to her, man.
Go on, personal.
What are we talking about wrong here?
Personal.
Okay,
Don't
sorry.
tell- don't- Yeah.
I love you.
This don't feel like love, personal.
Okay. So when it comes to strictly lyrical
You can't have
wordplay-
2 categories.
Just
Top 5.
Just
Fuck
pick
it.
5.
It don't matter.
well, because I got 2 that are in a league of their own, but my top 5
You don't have to
personal.
explain your top 5. It's your
Okay.
top 5. Don't
Okay.
let her
Okay.
pressure
Yeah, don't let
you.
her pressure you.
It's your top 5.
It's your
Okay.
personal top 5.
So-
Shut up.
This first artist, I just have to say, because he emulates what it means to put love into your craft in hip hop. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for saying this.
Oh, I really want to know this.
Russ.
That's not hate.
Oh, I love Russ.
Russ.
I thought you were about to say
Well, no,
Tekashi
'cause,
6ix9ine. So
no,
we good.
hell
I did too.
no. Hell
caught
no,
my
no,
breath
no, no,
like,
no,
oh,
no, no,
Lord.
no, no.
So
No,
we
but
got
when
Russ at number 5?
There's
number-
no particular order for
Okay,
this.
we
They're
got
just
order.
in my top
I
5 for
love
With
different
Russ.
reasons.
I fuck with Russ.
But a lot of people, especially
Trying to
online, they call, they're like, Russ is corny, Russ is this. But Russ wrote, engineered, produced,
He's a
engineered, like everything,
He's a
100% solo.
ultimate DIY. Yeah.
Ultimate DIY.
Yeah.
He filmed his own music videos. He did it with no label backing. He used his own money, and he is the only artist in hip hop history. And the second runner up to get even near as close was J. Cole for his song or for his album For Your Eyes Only. But Russ was the first one to go 100% solo and make it platinum. So if you want to talk about the essence of an MC putting love into their craft in all aspects, firing on all cylinders, Russ has to be in that top 5.
fucks with it.
You argue with your mama, I'm not going to have this debate with you.
He said,
I
fight your
fucks
mama.
with Russ.
Yeah.
Fight your mammy.
Fight your mammy.
I mean, we off to a good start.
Yeah. So Russ, Nipsey Hussle's got to be in that conversation.
Like, we-
Neighborhood Nip.
I
Yeah.
like personal. over
Yeah,
here.
no. So, and when it comes to Nipsey too, he does talk about his, involvement with certain, activity, and you guys all know Nip. But what I love about Nip too is for the kids that come from a certain type of community or a certain type of upbringing, he's like, this is how you get out. This is where you invest your money. This is where you want to make smart decisions about this. And, he does have his songs that pertain to his lifestyle. But when I listen to Nip's lyrics, it doesn't sound like he was glorifying the lifestyle. He's like, nah, the The mission is to make it out and to be successful, to give back to the community and to create generational wealth.
All right, not doing too bad.
3's got to be J. Cole, just because of how versatile he is. And a lot of people, especially after, the bow out that he did during the Drake and Kendrick beef. But J. Cole got to be in my 5 because he's, what's it?
I was going to ask,
What's it?
after that point, you laughed at my post about it, but that's what I was pertaining to. The Port Antonio song. I feel like this, like I said in this post, and if we've learned anything about this shit, do not explain yourself after the fact. Just either
Stand on business or keep your mouth
don't try to say what I meant, what it was, what could have happened.
What really happened. see, this is what had happened.
Just leave it alone. Like
No, but so outside of all that, J. Cole, and he actually has a line. If you take away all the beef drama outside of the conversation, he even has a line in Port Antonio that I was really able to relate to, where he talks about, you won't understand this unless you came from a certain type of upbringing, and then your mom met a man where they were able to double up their salaries and take you to a better position in life. And that's how it was for me growing up, and that's why I related a lot to that one specific line where, my mom was still finishing high school and college. And then when she was 19, she met my dad, and my dad was on his way to really building his career. And when I was, I want to say 8 or 9 years old, is when I got to experience going from, kind of a rougher upbringing into something that was middle class. And even though I wasn't necessarily the most comfortable because I couldn't relate to the kids that I was around, I got to relate to that portion of Port Antonio because of that. But on top of that, a lot of the topics that J. Cole touches on, I feel like I'm actually able to, even as a white boy, I'm able to relate to what he's saying. So because of that, J. Cole got to be in my 5.
You think it's a half white part of him?
Oh man, what are you gonna say?
That's gotta be the. That's not the J. Cole. That's the Jermaine.
Jermaine.
Yeah, I relate to Jermaine.
You guys
My
out of your
God.
mind.
Jermaine's a black name.
I was gonna say
I know that's the black name, but I'm just saying.
White Jermaine.
I'm not gonna butcher his name and be like,
Never.
oh, that's Justin.
No, it's
you know.
Cole is his white side.
I'm sorry.
I was listening to Cole the other day.
I was listening to Cole. Okay, you're
Touche, my
right.
dude.
You're right.
Cole.
So I was listening to Cole, and I really got yeah.
That first verse.
So we got Russ, we got Nip, we got J. Cole.
Why you doing
I
that?
gotta say, Nas for sure.
I'm out.
Nas.
I'm still don't listen to them.
I don't like Nas.
I'm a J over.
These three. They have an affinity for Nas.
I have no issue with Nas. I'm a J. I prefer J over Nas, but I fuck with both of them.
I prefer J over
Hey,
Nas.
listen, this is your list.
Yeah.
So, but what boils down a lot for me too is also cadence and sound of the voice.
Yeah, he said,
So-
"Made you look," and I said, "Yeah, I looked away."
Look the whole
Don't.
other damn direction.
I can't go there. Stillmatic's still one of my favorite albums. So
Yeah. And then my last
Not
one,
Nostradamus.
nah, Stillmatic. Rewind.
I gotta say my last
That
one
is
would
a
be
hard
Hobson.
Wow.
Hobson.
Oh,
Hobson.
Word.
Hobson.
Nigga, you
because
don't like Tupac?
he's in my two where I said that there's two artists that are in the league of their own.
Tupac.
He just said-
No. My
I wanna
the two
hear
that are going to
Tupac's
be
name
in there.
said. Thank
Well, no,
you.
it was going to be Eminem and Tupac.
He said
Okay.
Nipsey.
Thank you.
Well, I guess Hobson is Eminem adjacent.
But yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
no. So
a little bit.
the reason I loved
we're talking
Hobson,
about Hobson with or without the contacts,
both.
because that's a different version.
Well, no, both. Because when he had the white contacts in, it was very controversial, which was similar to Eminem, where he's just saying such off the wall, weird shit that you never hear anybody say. But, once he took out the contacts and he started creating Undercover Prodigy and breaking away from Funk Volume and that part of his history, where he started getting a little more personal into his own life, like Illmind 9, where he's talking about the divorce from his wife and being canceled from going into Australia and losing his
that
kids.
That was
shit,
funny.
yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
said that. I should never laugh at that song, but I was laughing.
Your ass trifling as hell. You just
There's
make
a lot
fun of
of
every damn body, don't you?
Toxicity. But I'm still telling you, man, the fact that you endorsed that whole
But
mean side of Raphael, like
oh,
the turtle, like you said, that's my
that's my nigga.
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
If one turtle's a nigga, it's Ralph.
Yeah, that's true.
But yes, Pac and Eminem, just to
Em-
appease Des. Tupac and Eminem were the two artists that I said at the beginning, where there's two artists that I put
We
into a
talking Digital
category.
Underground Pac or Death Row Pac?
All the pop.
All the Pac.
How about,
'Cause I-
how about
yeah,
after
'cause-
Digital
'cause-
Underground?
I like Digital Underground Pac.
I like
All
all
Eyes
the
on
Pac.
Me.
You don't like all the
that
Pac?
gangster- You don't like that
I
gangster
prefer
shit?
Digital Underground.
Thank
Pac.
you. That
You
sounds
got,
good.
Well,
Me
see,
Against the
my
World.
favorite thing about
Because Ambition is Right, the first song I played at the gym.
That is my song, okay? Yes. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say what I loved most about Pac. You know, you were talking about a lot of people who, you know, during this point in time, you know, you had NWA that kind of paved the way for this style of music, and then you get into the early and mid '90s, or not the early and mid '90s, the late '80s going into the '90s. You got Biggie. You have people that were just coming onto the scene. You know, Snoop and all of them. Pac, in my personal opinion, was one of the most poetic. And because of my background in poetry, you know, what kind of paved the way for me getting involved into hip hop in the first place, that's what I was able to identify with. Even if I can't necessarily relate to a lot of what he was talking about because I wasn't, you know, that's not the lifestyle that I came from. Yeah, I can't say that.
I'll say it for you.
This is not 18-year-old personal. This is 27-year-old personal, you know.
I thought he was going to say something about the 1800s, and I looked down at their shoes.
I thought we were done with that.
No, what did Kevin say earlier? 2 Chainz?
Don't repeat shit Kevin said, because Kevin is a funny motherfucker. Don't repeat shit Kevin said. Thank you very much.
2 Chainz.
I do have a question.
Oh, man.
I think you should get into like some sort of politics or something, because what you said earlier, it's not even a question. You said it in a fucking well said way.
What's up?
It's like, yeah, I was making beats, but I wasn't really, you know. You said it a diplomatic way for making trash ass beats. What you just doing? I was making trash.
Well, no. I mean, it's not that it's trashy. It just it doesn't fit
It
me as an
didn't
artist.
fit.
But okay,
me.
when we say politics, are we
You can
talking
spin
about
it.
actual
Spin it.
politics?
Well, you know,
Yeah, you'd be. a
you're
good
gonna be in the.
politician.
If you're in the music business, there's some sort of politics involved. So
Well, I mean, Diddy is gone. So.
we're not talking those politics,
No,
brother.
we're talking about local politics.
Diddy is
Local
done
politics.
for. That's a done for nigga.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I like your
dude,
approach.
the internet never fails. I have so many memes about Diddy. It's
Send 'em.
funny.
Oh, Lord.
I got you. I'll send them to you on
Send 'em.
Instagram. No. You want to see my favorite one? I sent it to my
I
dad.
love a good Diddy meme. Send them.
Hold up.
The
That's
Diddler.
That's Diddy Bob.
No. It's
The Diddler takes me out every
no,
time.
Not the
That
Diddler.
shit be having me in tears.
Lubifer.
Oh,
he-
no,
he
send
posted-
Lubifer.
I cried at that too.
Hold up. Where is it? Where is
Send
it?
it.
Where
That
is
was
it?
funny.
Who the fuck did I send it to?
McFly
Like,
posted
I like
it.
how yeah.
The Lubifer.
Yeah, I posted it too.
That was funny.
You did?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
funny.
the Lubrifer.
Oh my goodness, Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't
Oh.
know.
Diddy
I don't
Bob.
see this.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, that was it.
Send it, please.
There's too
I got it.
many.
I'll
I
send
got
it to
to
you.
send
Right?
that shit to my mama.
Oh no, we're
Yeah,
doing
that was funny.
this.
So there's too many.
Yeah, there's
No, but when it comes to local politics, you know, I think still being, you know, a relative newcomer, even outside of the connections I've been able to make in the local scene, I'm still only 5-6 years into it. You know, I still don't have the full rundown of, well, this person had a history connected to this city or this region, and this person was able to perform this, and this person gave back to the community in this way. Like, I'm still learning all of that. But when it comes to the local politics, I'm not gonna lie, I try to keep myself out of it. I want to be able to say I got to where I'm at without needing the backing of someone who's considered stamped in the IE, or, oh, you know, this is, you know, the IE legend, this is this. I don't want to have to ride on their coattails to get to where I'm going. In more sense, just to say I was able to do this based off of my talent and my work ethic, not because I had connections. And being a white boy in hip hop, it's already an uphill battle because I have to prove why I'm invited as a guest into the house of hip hop in the first place. So, and no disrespect to Eminem, Eminem would not have gotten where he is without Dre. Would not have. I don't want to have to be able to do the same thing where it's like, oh, I have to, be cool with so-and-so, or I have to, kiss so-and-so's ass to be able to get into this performance or this venue. Like, no, I want the work ethic to speak for itself. And I want
you want to be
talent.
baby oil free.
You work.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
God damn.
No. So I saw, hold up. Now that we're talking about, I saw this fucking,
You brought me up.
no, I saw this fucking meme. Where it was a person that was in a fetal position crying, and it said, when Diddy promised you a record deal and then got locked up the next week.
Oh no, you done got oiled
That's all you had
down.
me.
Oh,
You done
no.
got oiled down. He ain't getting out.
No.
That
I-
nigga
It's
in
over
there.
for him.
God
He in
damn.
there. He in there.
Shout out to Justin Bieber.
All I know is dreams.
Oh.
All I know is dreams. And,
Bieber, I have nothing to do with this. That is not the reflection of Desmond
all I
Bieber.
know is that dreams and nightmares have a whole new meaning now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But
That
back
ain't
to
none of my
Hold
business.
up, wait a minute.
You ain't lying.
Y'all thought I was finished?
Oh, dude, Andrew Scholes had that. Dude, have you guys heard of Andrew Scholes, or do you watch him at all?
I know who you are.
Yeah, no, that whole
no.
segment. Hold up, wait a minute.
but
You were
back
finished.
to what you said.
What's
Yes, there are local politics.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately.
I am a prime example of I don't kiss nobody's ass. So, but yeah, for you to say that is that's the frame of mind you want to have.
Yeah.
As far as don't kiss anyone's ass to get anywhere. Just do it based on your business, based on your beliefs and your skill and talent.
Yeah.
Because the rest of it,
Yeah.
yeah,
Keep working like a psychopath, because that's
that's
the
what's going
only
to get
way
you
to
there.
hit it.
Yeah, that's what's going to get you there for sure. The best piece of advice you can give anyone who decides to be an MC.
I think the two things that I would say, one, you gotta have thick skin.
Yeah.
You gotta have thick skin, because especially if you're trying to break away from just an artist to be an MC, and to really put a lot of thought and love into your craft, even if you're not the most talented with it yet, you got to be able to take criticism with a grain of salt. And you're gonna have a lot of people that are, smile in your face and prey on your downfall behind your back.
A lot of them.
So you gotta have thick skin, and you have to mentally prepare yourself for people you thought were friends might not be your friends. So you have to kind of pick your circle very wisely. But more importantly than that arrogance and confidence are two very separate things. And I say this because I made the mistake of being arrogant. Don't get me wrong. Do I think I'm dope? Yes. But I used to think when I stepped in the building, I was the dopest in the room, and I had this kind of chip on my shoulder, and I had this kind of element to me where it's like, well, I'm the most talented one here. No, I wasn't. I mean, that's the energy that kept me working, and I will always appreciate who I was at that point in time. But you can be confident and you can recognize yourself for the talent that you have. But you also have to learn to be able to humble yourself and say, like, if you truly want to be an MC, there's no such thing as being the dopest in the room. There's no such thing as being perfect, because there's always something to better yourself at. Regardless if it's within your creation process, your writing process, business connections that you can make outside of the music. I mean, there's so many different avenues that you really have to continuously focus on improvement, that there's no such thing as I'm the best in the room. There is no such thing. Even the greatest of the greats, like, yeah, they might say, oh, I'm the GOAT. But the one thing they all have in common is that they're all still trying to outdo each other. They're all saying, oh, this person did this. Let me step up my game over here. Let me, attack this with a different type of flow I might not have thought of back when I first recorded this song. And keeping that competitive edge and being able to sit back and say, that song was fucking dope. How can I do better?
What you finna say, Big Fly? Cause
I just said,
you
I was
bite
waiting.
your
I was
tongue so
waiting.
bad you
I
bite
said,
your
in
lip.
hindsight, Drake should have took this advice.
Oh damn!
He got too arrogant. He got too cocky. That's it. But
Oh, Drake.
everything you said is very true. And I said, I wish you would have. Yeah, it's facts.
Yeah.
Everything you said is facts. So when I kept thinking, I was like, Drake, listen. If you listen to the podcast, just listen. Like, Don't get arrogant, man. Stay in the battle.
He never really let shit down.
So what are your other hobbies and passions outside of music?
I mean, I
Just
before
bitches,
before the before the
You a bitches
injury.
person?
Yeah.
He said, "I do all right. I do all right. I
I
get
do
a
all
bitch or
right.
something. You know."
You know, I pull the attention of high class women.
I like that
Okay,
answer.
I like
I like
that.
that. I
He's
like
been
that.
known to shake a tree or two.
No,
it's
but
an
I would
old nigga
say
living
the gym, more so not just for my physical health, but for my emotional well-being and keeping myself grounded, and keeping myself disciplined. The gym was a very big passion and hobby of mine before the injury, and I'm still trying to get myself back into it, but I've been really hindered during my recovery process. Outside of that, I love sports. I don't like to watch sports, as funny as it is. Like, I don't like to watch basketball. I don't like to watch football. I don't like to watch tennis, but I love to play all three of those sports.
So you hoop?
I don't like to be on the sidelines.
You hoop?
No, I've been hooping since I was.
Oh, we're gonna have to.
I mean, you do all the
11 years
nigga
old.
shit.
We're gonna have to hoop.
I'm down. Hey,
Maurice, I love you. He love people that do nigga shit.
You play spades?
Spades. No. I'm not
can't-
huge
he-
into.
out.
He can't. You can't be his partner then because
I'm sorry.
he's spade. He's spades.
I'm sorry. But
It's a lot of niggas that don't play spades. Don't let it.
So you
fool
could have had a line like
I don't play spades off
If you
for
play
different
spades,
reasons.
you'd have a dope ass rap line. You'd be like, I got two in a personal.
If you play spades,
Oh, see, yeah.
hey,
Bars.
yeah.
bars. But yeah.
What's
so,
wrong, Kevin? You like that?
Hey, listen.
That'll flow.
Listen.
If it's my faith partner, I got two in a personal, so I got two. Whatever you got, for
I just don't know what it means.
I'm not gonna lie. That's why I didn't say anything, because I don't either. That's why I didn't say nothing. I was like, huh?
I'm about to start teaching a spades class around here.
I mean,
I
Yes,
mean,
please, yes,
yeah.
I would like that.
You could do like a heavyweight podcast presents Mo's
Yeah,
intro to spades
that'd be dope, and I would really watch that because I
Or-
really don't know how to play spades.
or nigga shit.
It won't.
Yeah.
It won't.
Nigga shit
all
would
he's
be
gonna do is
dope.
like,
You
only
should,
advice I
guys.
got is just
The
don't
first-
sit across the table from me.
Nigga shit. And the first episode will be he'll interview Dez's purse.
Shut the fuck up. I know you fucking lying. I know you fucking lying.
Anyway,
Oh shit.
before you take off, your future projects, plans that you make, or future projects or plans that you plan to pursue, also your handle for Instagram and all your other social medias.
Got it. So I have 3 albums I've been working on simultaneously.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I have 97 Legend, which is just because that's my birth year. And it's just a culmination of all the dope bangers that I've had in my back pocket that I like. Some of them I wanted to include on Center Child, but I was like, there was no depth to the song. It was just like, again, one of those braggadocious, the stuff that everyone listens to nowadays. That I was like, okay, even though I'm not going to include it on Center Child because it doesn't convey the message that I want it to convey, 97 Legend is just that's the look at me. I'm talking my shit, Talk Your Shit Heavyweight Podcast. That's the Talk Your Shit album. I have Letters to You that I even have tattooed on me, which is an R&B exclusive that talks about
You sing it?
not really singing, but it has those R&B elements to it.
There is auto tune.
Not that much. I don't like using autotune. If I can't recreate it live, I don't really like adding too many different
I
elements.
wish these rappers would take that advice.
Me too.
Well, they
say
just play
Drake.
tracks in the back and just
Say
dance
Drake.
to them.
Because they'd be like, I'd be like, do you have auto tune in your
God damn it,
microphone?
Kevin said that. Kevin
Are we
said that.
really doing this right now?
Kevin said that shit reminded me of Dreamfest last year where they were just letting the track play.
Yeah, they're just letting the track play, and you're like, what?
I was
The
like, why-
Well,
why
no,
we got
and
that
that's the
talent?
thing too.
It's not performing.
That's the one thing that I promised myself. Like, I think I only have 1 or 2 songs where I even have any element of backtrack vocals in the hook, and that's it. Only 2. The rest of them is me and the instrumental. Because it's, and again, that's why I'll record the song in 1 take. Can I match the cadence live? Can I match the breath control live? Can I do this live? If I cannot recreate this, I have no business recording this because it's not me. You're creating a secondary character that you can't even emulate live. So if you can't emulate it live, no one's really going to be able to connect to it, in my personal opinion. So that's why I don't really like elements of auto-tune. I don't dabble too much in voices that I cannot recreate live. And, I try to stay away, especially as a white boy, I try to stay away from lyrics that I don't live. Do I know, a certain type of people? Yeah. Do I come from that lifestyle? No way in hell. Like, yeah, do I know gangsters? Do I know, vatos? Do I know bikers? Yeah, I know those people. I don't come from that lifestyle, though. So I'm not going to talk about shit that I don't know. I'm not going to talk about a lifestyle that I didn't live. And that all boils down to, who am I as an artist? Who am I as a person? And who can connect with me based off of what I'm saying? And that also goes with the connect or disconnect of the recording process. Like, if I can't sing this good live, why am I going to try to put all this auto-tune to make it look like I'm a good singer? And then, like, I try to go sing live and I'm all fucking off key because I don't know how to fucking sing.
Say Drake.
Say Drake.
And that really just boils down to trying my best to stay authentic to who I am as a person. But yeah, so there's a 97 Legend, Letters to You, and then the Personality album that I'm working on. And I really do think I want Personality to be the follow-up to Sinner Child. And then as far as plans that I have for the future, and I don't want to go too far into it, mainly because I don't want to get my hopes up if it doesn't go the way that I'm planning it to, because life has a funny way of throwing all these curveballs that you weren't prepared for. But I am going to be starting school either in January or February. And the school that I chose, because I have to go to community college first to knock out the prereqs to be able to transfer to university. But the school that I chose was a Norco college, because from what I've been made aware of, Norco College as a community college has one of the biggest music programs in all of Southern California, to the point that they even have a student body only concert that they throw where only students are able to perform. And they have like 700-800 people minimum that are all students that are all going to be around my age. They're going to be here watching this event. So my major and my minor that I'm trying to go for is business analysis and business program analysis. But the elective, because they force you to take an elective anyway, I'm going to go in for music production. Mainly just to start making connections, who's who knows who. And because I'm involved in the community, in the Inland Empire scene, even if I'm not the most known, I have connections. I can bridge people. Where I'm like, hey, like, okay, you're getting into the production end, or you're, finding hip hop, let me get you connected over here to someone who can actually get you involved in events that are outside of school. So if I can become that guy, I can staple myself as a power player in the Inland Empire. You're
going to have a corner office somewhere.
Yeah, you said that was very political.
Yeah.
In the approach, I respect it.
You're going to be like, I got this corner office, but I got bars.
You.
Don't fuck with me.
Yeah. So my first thought was, he's finna go to school, so those beats wouldn't be.
That's what I was laughing at. He was like, production. I was like, you don't want to make them trash.
See, I took it a whole different approach. When you said Norco, I said that's also the capital and the IE of them saying white people saying the N-word with the hard ER.
That's where I can spread that knowledge.
Spread the knowledge. Yeah, because
hey, I'm gonna do you a solid.
What's I'm do it?
Don't do that in Norco.
No.
They will. I can't say what.
Unless you can fight.
Well, my presidential candidate said that I could.
Yes.
So shut up.
All right. Your socials, so these people know how to reach you.
Right now, the Instagram, I did change it from Persinal Official only because I wanted to bring more attention to the Sinner Child album. So right now, the Instagram handle sits at S1NNER.child for Sinner Child. Instagram's really the only thing that I got right now outside of Facebook. I got off of TikTok for a little while, and I'm, planning to go back to it, but the one detriment that I have, there's multiple things that I could work on to be better, but my biggest detriment as an artist is that I can't stand social media. I can't. I don't like social media. I don't like the fake lives people portray and the characters that they like to play. And oh, shit's green on this side. No, it's not. I know you outside of here. I know what you
Just follow me
doing.
'cause I'm a real nigga.
Oh my God.
So
Everything I post.
This,
I don't even follow this nigga.
this ain't your talk, your shit.
Right. His was last week. Right.
That wasn't mine.
But
That was her.
But that's my thing with it, where it's like, I know you outside of here. I know what you're dealing with. I know you ain't making money like that. You ain't making
Yeah,
no
but you
moves.
gotta
Like
flash that shit.
I know you got to
Fuck
flash that
it.
shit, and I have my songs that flash shit that. Yeah, because at the end of the day, too, it becomes a line of, are you really living this or are you manifesting this? I'll be the first one to say,
I like
any songs that I got where I'm flexing some shit, I'm manifesting that. Am I living that right now? No, but this is my way of speaking.
No, he's
into
living
existence.
that. Fuck that. Fuck y'all. He living that.
I wish.
What did Diesel used to always say? Rap is either about braggadocious or your life, I believe. There's the two ways to rap. It's either you're bragging about something or you're talking about something, like you're talking about your life. So I fuck with it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And so I can respect people who have the self-awareness to say, I'm not living that right now. That's just where I'm trying to go. But I know way too many people who I'm not gonna name drop. I'm not gonna name drop, but I know a lot of people who
It's burning your soul too. You want
And I'm nosy, so I would like, tell me when the mic
Drop
on.
the bomb on them.
but there are a lot of people that flex and brag and they will try to portray that that's the light that they're living. I'm like, bro, I just know you were just asking so and so for money last week. What you
Damn.
flexing
That's-
for?
You're in sales as well, so you're like, I know debt to income ratio.
I'm like, hey, the math ain't math, and the math ain't math right now, sir.
Yeah. That's a trip what you learn about people in passing. And I like the more I talk to other artists and you're like, oh, did you know? You're like, no, I thought no.
Based off of everything they were putting out, I thought they had it like that.
Huh?
And they don't. And I'll be the first one to say, I don't got it like that. I'm working to get there. I'm putting all the pieces in place to try my best to achieve that. And I'm never going to give up on that. I'm always, even if plan A doesn't work, I got plan C, D, E, F, G locked up in the background to be like, okay, if this doesn't play out the way that I wanted to, okay, now it's time to switch this out, introduce this different element, see if this works instead, so on and so forth. But I'm not living it like that. Like, yet. It's not like I'm out here with my own house, doing everything by myself. I got my apartment and things like that, but I'm definitely not where I want to be. So any songs where I emulate this character of Persinal is the embodiment of everything that I want to achieve. Persinal is the embodiment of, that confidence, that swagger that I didn't have growing up. And that's my way.
Nigga.
Thank you for saying it, because I can't.
He's his translator, his
I'm
black
his space
translator.
partner.
You got to teach me about space once this goes down.
And
'cause
Domino's, do you know
Don't let him
Domino's?
teach you about spades because he's gonna expect you to say nigga.
So with that being said,
What's up, player?
this has been
Well played.
another dope, awesome, very informative episode
Yes.
Good.
of Talk Yo Shit
Yeah.
with our family member, Persinal.
Thank you so much. And thank you guys so much for having
Like,
me.
subscribe.
Share, comment,
Share
all
and
that
comment.
shit.
Till next time, we love you. Peace out.
And whoever don't like the video, your mama's a hoe.
Oh my God.
I'ma talk my
This has been another episode of the Heavyweight Podcast, Talk Yo Shit. One thing about me, baby, I'm showing up every week to see who coming to talk they shit. Y'all better show up with me. See you there. Bye.
Bye.